गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. So we saw in the 7th verse the wonderment that the Lord expressed, and now in the 8th verse ननरेणा वरेण प्रोक्त एषः सुविज्ञेयो बहुधा चिन्त्यमानः अनन्य प्रोक्ते गतिरत्र नास्ति अणीयान् ह्यतर्क्यमणुप्रमाणात्. This self, when taught by a man of inferior intellect, is not easy to be known, as it is to be thought of in various ways. When it is taught by another superior perceptor, who is one with Brahman, who beholds no difference, there is no other way concerning it. The self being subtler than the subtlest and is beyond argumentation. So here, what is being told is that this knowledge of truth is not just to be gained out of books and also not only, as I said last time in the last class, that merely having an experience of it does not qualify you to share it teach it to others. You have to be Shrotriya Brahmanist. You have to know it also, and you should have experienced it also, and the scriptures teach you how to communicate it to others also. And that communication, when guided by your own direct experience, makes a lasting change in a prepared student. He is able to apprehend it there and then. So with this, the Adi Shankaracharya, he is talking about Ananya Prokte Gatiratra Nasti. He is explaining that what could be the possible meanings that are given of this verse. He first says, if the Atman is taught by a perceptor who is free from the notion of duality and has thus become one with the Absolute, the student shall have no doubts in the explanations when he is studying from a teacher, such a person. So there will be no doubts in the explanations listened to by the student. Second, when the Atman, that is the self, which is none other than the disciple's own self, is taught, there can be no more doubts. So from the teacher point of view, or from the student's point of view, this we have made clear many times, that while you are listening, your attention should be on that because of which listening is possible. If that attention is there, then there can be no doubts possible. Third, the word gati means destination, goal, passage, the path. Then the meaning would be that when the Atman, the self, not distinct from the self, has been taught, there shall be no more travelling. Passage is an imagined journey. The journey of a wave to water is an imagined journey, isn't it? Similarly, the passage of time that passes, oh, I have to do so much practice, I have to become concentrated, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to study scriptures, I have to meditate, and I hope I do it before I die. All these ideas are null and void, because the Atman, the self, is not different than the self within that you are. And if the attention is maintained on that truth, that the life spark within me is the self that the scriptures are talking about, and that is remembered again and again, and attention is put there again and again, then that so-called journey becomes null and void. There and then you just know it. And lastly, and such a person no more travels in the samsara. Samsara means in the world. The journey is only in the world. Seeking is only in the world. Desires are only in the world. Realization is only in the world. As long as the world is real for you, till then realization is real for you. So get out of it. We may take the words ananya prokte agatihi, so it can be, it's a Sanskrit language, how different teachers have interpreted it. So you can put one word from here and add there, or subtract from there and add there. That is the Sanskrit language. So the word said ananya prokte gatiratra nasti. Now they are saying ananya prokta agatiratra nasti. So the a from there is added here, and then the meaning becomes that when Brahma Vidya is given, then when this knowledge, supreme knowledge is given to one who is himself well established in truth consciousness, there will be no comprehension in the bosom of the student. So, and if you want to know what is the simple meaning of this Ananya Prokte Gatiradanas, this is not taught by another, there is no way thither. That is the simple meaning of this verse, that only a man of superior knowledge, man who has known the supreme truth, is abiding in it, should teach it to a worthy student. And that worthy student, when taught by such a master, so both have to be great. Master should be Shrotriya Brahmanist and he is teaching the student, and the student should be absolutely ready. And when the two come like a matchstick to the sulfur on the side, the moment they come against each other, light is the result.
That's when the unity happens, doesn't it? It's sort of like
This is no unity here.
we become aware of the self, the same. I can't explain it.
There is no unity. It is recognition.
Recognition.
Unity presupposes there is separation.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. Yeah, no, I
Unity
understand.
presupposes there is separation. Here there has never been a separation.
No.
It's an imagined separation. And we are trying to remove that imagined separation concept out of our mind. And in this way, the teacher Adi Shankaracharya has explained that verse in different ways. Now in the 9th verse, Naisha tarkena matirapaneya proktanyenaiva sujnanaya preshtha yam tvamapa satya dhrutir batasi tvadrum no bhuyanna chiketa prishta. This knowledge which thou hast obtained is not attainable by argumentation. Here in the previous verse also it was told that self being subtler than the subtlest and is beyond argumentation. Why it is being told beyond argumentation? Why stress is being given on? It is not a topic of discussion. It is not a topic of logic. Arguments, where do the arguments happen? In the intellect. You have some ideas, you have some concepts, and those concepts you are trying to put forward. It is not gained by arguing. No, this way, no, that way. Forget it. You prepare. You purify. And when you purify, you automatically come to a point in that purification where you are sucked into that reality. I'm just using those words, sucked into that reality. You are able to intuit that you are that. And it's an effortless glide into that state of perfection. But all that is required is purification. Purification means removing the cobwebs that are keeping you in this dual state of mind. This, what she just said, this separation, this imagined separation is the result of this deluded thinking. And purification removes this delusional thinking. So, here in this verse, the teacher says, this knowledge which thou hast, that you have obtained, is not attainable by argumentation. It is easy to understand it, O dearest, when taught by a teacher who beholds no difference between oneself and another. Thou art fixed in truth. May we have, O Nachiketa, an empire like thee. The Lord of Death is inspired and happy, and he can't. Now this is the first time he is praising his student, and he's appreciative, and his voice is choking out of love for this rare disciple that without asking he has found. One great master, you must have heard, Swami Chinmayananda. His photograph you have seen in my house. He went to his teacher, the knowledge teacher. His name is Tapon Maharaj. And when he went there, Tapon Maharaj told him, I have been waiting for you. And that is towards the end of his life that he met Tapon Maharaj. Towards the end of the life of Tapon Maharaj, he met Chinmayananda. Chinmayananda already was a sannyasi. He went to Tapon Maharaj, and Tapon Maharaj did not accept disciples just like that. He will teach in Sanskrit, he will speak in Sanskrit, and after saying once, he will never repeat it again. Never repeat it again. And you may, when he allows, you may ask a question, but he keeps the freedom whether to answer it or not. And if he asks you a question and you are not able to repeat what he said, out of the class. 7 or 9 years, Swami Chinmayananda studied with him. Strict disciplinarian. Every day, go to the river, take bath in the Ganges, come back, 2 classes every day, rest of the day, study, contemplate. When Chinmayananda went to him, he said, that Swamiji he had taken initiation from Swami Shivananda and in Rishikesh. And Swami Shivananda spoke to him that he told him that you go to Tapon Maharaj, because he had all these questions he wanted to know, and Shivananda was a karma yogi, he wanted to serve the society. Chinmayananda wanted to know difference. So, not in personal difference, but approach difference. So he said, you go to Tapon Maharaj, he will teach you. Maybe he will be able to answer all your questions. So he went. 6 days walking, he went to Uttarkashi, in the hills, in the Himalayas. When he reached there, he said, I have spoken to Swami Shivananda, and Swami Shivananda probably spoke to you, and I would like to study with you. He said, to Tapon Maharaj. He has just reached. How do I know that he has told that you can come and study here? Did he give you any letter? Go and bring the letter. That student, Swami Chinmayananda, without stopping there, immediately turned back, walked 6 days back to Rishikesh, got a letter from Swami Shivananda, then again walked back to Uttarkashi and said, here is the letter. He says, I've been waiting. Just wanted to see how eager are you to study. These are my conditions, what I told you before. And after 7 years of study with him, towards the end, one day, in 2 years we were feeling wow. After 1 week you feel wow. After 7 years of studies, how much it would be? That too in the lap of the Himalayas, next to the Mother Ganges, every day you are in her lap. So, one day Tapan Maharaj said, he took his cloth, he only used to wear one cloth on top and langot and underwear. So he said, can you wash? And Chinmayananda used to wash his clothes every day. And one day he complained that, Chinmaya, you tore my clothes. He says, I did not tear your clothes. They were already torn. And that was the truth. There was a hole in there, probably, and he had pulled it and said, see, and every person who came to meet him, every passing person, if he's walking, this Chinmaya, I don't know what he has against me, he tore my clothes, now I have to wear torn clothes. After 1 week, 2 weeks, it went on, and this disciple, Chinmaya, he is also listening, and slowly some reaction is taking place inside of him, and eventually one day, but he knows that he has not torn it. But every time he went to the teacher, Tapovan, he will say, so have you come to tear my clothes again? And every time taunted like this, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, not once a day, many times a day, again and again, there is a height of patience. One day he said, Swamiji, I will bring new set of clothes somehow, and I don't want new clothes. You tore my clothes. And one day Chinmayananda got disgusted with his teacher. And his old man, I think he's lost it. Or it's better you can't think in that way about your teacher, but he said, I think it's better if this is going to continue, I don't know what has got into him, let me go my way. And he offered his prostrations to the teacher and said, I'm going. And he went. Started walking. 6 kilometers he had already walked out of the town. And then Tapan Maharaj sent one boy who was also coming to study, you go and get him. Tell him I am calling. Just this much. That Tapovan is calling, Guruji is calling, just go and tell him. He went running on a cycle maybe, caught up with him and tell him, hey Chinmayananda, Swami Tapovan, your Guruji is calling you. That Chinmayananda at that moment did not think twice, but came back. And the moment he came back, the first thing what the teacher told him, you tore my clothes. And not laughingly or pulling his leg. No, same tone like before. You tore my clothes. Why are you doing that? And till now, Chinmayananda was saying, I did not, I have not, there is a mistake, I will replace it, this, that. This time, he says, yes, I tore it. At that very moment, that last remnant of individuality that was within him vanished. And a great person called Chinmayananda was born. See? So it's not that it will happen in this manner or it will happen in that manner. Here again I am showing argument. Our teacher also said, you have got no freedom to ask any questions to me. I am not interested. You have to discover your own answers. Because can truth be given by someone to you? Can yourself be given by someone to you? No. Not by argumentation. It is not a matter for intellect to ascertain that truth is. No, truth is your essential nature, because of which the intellect is also functioning and thinking. So, it is the spark because of which the body functions, the breath happens, the mind feels, the intellect thinks, and in this manner, the Lord is saying that, see, for example, I'll give you, as long as you are sitting in the car and driving the car, who is in front? Huh? Who is in the front? The car is in the front. You are behind the wheel. You are driving the car, but the car is in front of you, isn't it? But if you decide that you want to be in front of the car, what do? You come out of the car and you come in front of the car. The moment you come out of the car and stand in front of it, can the car move? Is an accident possible? No. As long as you are in the car, accident is possible. But once you are out of the car and in front of it, accident is not possible. Because the moment you come out of the car becomes standstill, isn't it? If this example is understood, same thing. As long as you are in the mind as the individual, the mind is running and you are driving the mind. And accidents happen. Oh, insult, oh, praise, oh, hunger, oh, thirst, oh, comfort. Everything we are reacting to. But if we come out of the mind and intellect and stand, and now there is no reaction will be possible. Why? Because the one because of whom the car was being driven, that fellow itself is out. Just like car is an instrument to be driven, similarly mind and intellect are instruments to be driven. And they are driven by the consciousness, by the witness. And once you separate yourself from it, the moment you separate, stop. Accidents cease to happen. But if you decide, oh, this car is very nice, let me get into it. Which? The hunger car, or the tea car, or the any object, fascinating object in this world. Then again, accident is a possibility. So,
I was just thinking, if this is what you call purifying yourself, and there's a beautiful piece of chocolate cake in front of you, and you go back to the self, and you say, no, you don't want to enjoy this piece of chocolate cake or something. Is it all sort of life denying, or sort of... I know what you're getting at. I just wonder... All right. What are you laughing at?
she's going through the withdrawal pains. That I had to give up the chocolate, I had to give up the food, I had to give up the drink, coffee, I had to give up the tea, I had to give up the relations. Is this what you call life?
No, not really. But then again,
Then
you've
why-
got to live it at the same time, don't you?
Pardon me?
You've got to live it at the same time, don't you?
Let it be lived. You don't. This idea that I am living it itself is the delusion. Let it be lived. Let it happen.
Whether
How many times have we told hunger happens, batting of the eyelid happens, breathing happens, digestion happens, evacuation happens. Do you initiate it? So what gives you the right to say that I have to live the life? Get out of the whole equation. Allow the life to be lived. You focus on what is the real life. That is the one, because what the life that you call life is the life at the level of mind and intellect. The imaginations, the ideas, the relationships, the variety. But is that the real life? Car cannot drive by itself, cannot move by itself. It needs a driver. Exactly the same way, mind and intellect cannot function by themselves. They are functioning because of some another intelligent force, and that intelligent force is the goal of our life. That is the life spark that we are looking at, searching for. Having known which, we say we are liberated. And you see, even after knowing this, sometimes a doubt like this comes. But what about the chocolate? But if the joy was in the chocolate, then chocolate must give you eternal happiness. You can't even maximum you can eat is 1 or 2 slices out of the chocolate cake. If you eat the rest of it, you will puke. So it is not life, it is not enjoyment, it is not the goal. But you still think, because you have habituated yourself so much in this, that if I drink water, I'll be happy. If I go to if I eat chocolate, I'll be happy. If I have this at 4 o'clock coffee, I'll be happy. Then at 8 o'clock dinner, I'll be content. And if little bit the whole routine is disturbed, and I become disturbed. Pathetic existence.
It's really, I mean, if something is there, it's really whether it's your attachment to it that is ruling you, or just if it's there, oh, I'd have it. If it's not there, you're not going to be worried.
Yeah, you don't even think about it. If it is there, I'm going to have it. If it is not there, I'm not going to worry about it. You keep thinking about the Supreme. If the chocolate is to be eaten, it will be eaten. But don't forget the Supreme while eating the chocolate. You see? Because there are so many things in this world right now. Right at this moment, you have a choice to go out and go home. You have a choice to go to bed and go to sleep. You have a choice to go and sit in the sun and bask in the sunshine. You have a choice to go and help Lalita to cook. You have a choice to sleep in the class. You have a choice to listen but with your eyes closed. You have a choice. I can keep going. But can you tell me what is going to happen next? No. So allow it to happen. Allow it to happen. But do not compromise your attention to the witness. Witness everything. And till you are not able to witness, till you still feel some emotion or charge and a decision making process, then take the path of the good, not the path of the pleasant. Understand now the whole scheme. And having taken the path of the pleasant, having taken the path of the good, eventually come to a point where you are only witnessing. And many people who are not able to witness straight away, for them, now that we told before, the path of step-by-step liberation was given. Increase your capacity, increase your capability. And here, so this knowledge is not to be attained by argument, because intellect is also that which begins and which ends. It is only an instrument, and arguments are at the intellectual level, nowhere else. So it is told that it is easy to understand it, O dearest, when taught by a teacher who beholds no difference between oneself and another. Thou art fixed in truth. The Lord of Death has already blessed him. Why? He has already, he said, you are not arguing with me anything. Whatever I gave you, you have rejected. And so he has declared that you are already abiding in truth. See where it takes us. And then he says that you are abiding in truth. May we have an enquirer like you. Why he says this, that we have enquirer? Because all the temptations that he gave him, he did not succumb to. Very rare are people who are so focused that nothing distracts them from the goal that they have decided for themselves, and they will not stop. And in those 3-4 verses where the Lord of Death was offering him the best of the world, if you go through them from beginning to the end, in those 6 verses, you will see from the mortal world to the heavenly abode, everything was offered and everything was rejected. So his sadhana is complete. So if you are sitting on the seat of the meditation and a divine being comes and says, if you do this, you will get a lottery, 21, 32, 46, 37, 1, 2. Ding. Immediately you go. What was those numbers? I don't know. Maybe it was the lottery numbers. Get it. Then for the next 20 years, or maybe next 5 years, 10 years, you are stuck in the world. One person less knocking on the doors of the Lord.
So Baba used to tell people which horse was going to win the race. We knew a family, the husband was a gambler, and we would tell him.
It was again an invitation that I know, so change. So such type of people, may we have many enquirers like you, is the declaration of the Lord of Death, who out of his very bottom of the heart cannot stop praising the greatness of his disciple. And in this way, and nowadays what is happening in the society? The students judge the teacher's performance. And teachers, if they don't get a salary, they strike. And when they strike, the students think, what type of teacher this is? He is only after the salary and not about our education. So they also lose respect for such teachers. And it becomes a defeatist cycle. Whereas in the olden times, the teacher never demanded anything from the student. Only gave. Janamyaham shevadhiritya nityam nahyadhruvai prapyate hi dhruvam tata tato maya nachiketaschtitognihi anityair dravyai praptavanasmi nityam. See, now the teacher is comparing himself to his disciple. And he finds in that comparison that the disciple has surpassed the teacher. Look at it. That is the day that every teacher is waiting for. He says, know that the treasure is transient, for that which is eternal is not obtained by things which are non-eternal. Therefore, the Nachiketa fire has been propitiated by me with the perishable things, and I have obtained the eternal. With eternal? Relative immortality. So, Lord of Death continues to be the Lord of Death till the end of time. And when the great deluge will take place, when the entire universe becomes unmanifest, the Lord of Death also will become unmanifest and merge into the Supreme. But till then he has to do his duty. And why did he get this position of, of Lord of Death? Because he says, when I was a student like you, I also invoked this fire, and the desire was I want to be the Lord of Death. So I became the Lord of Death. And Lord of Death is ruling the entire universe, isn't it? But Nachiketa doesn't want to be the Lord of the universe also. See? He has surpassed his teacher. He only wants that. He wants to know what is that self. That's all he wants to know. What happens after death, he wants to know. What happens after death to the soul, to the consciousness. And the Lord of Death, he knows what happens after death because he has realized. But at the same time, he did this, he invoked this fire, and as a result, when you do certain practices, you will gain results. Every action must give you a result. And he did an action of invoking the fire, and it gave him the result, Lord of Death. He got that abode result. He has to be there till the end of time. And when he is comparing himself to his disciple, he can't stop praising him because where he fell short, this young boy of 9 years old has gone far beyond him. How much joy it will be there. You don't know how much joy I feel when I ask a question and the right answer comes. I get very inspired. Yes. So, the Lord of Death is very appreciative of the intense, acute discrimination that our Nachiketa has, and the dispassion towards all worldly riches that Nachiketa has. He is discriminating clearly between what he wants, what the goal is, that the self, what is that he is seeking, and what is not worthy of seeking. And having known what is not worthy of seeking, he has enough dispassion within him to keep it away from him, even though it was coming to him by the blessings of Lord of Death. So he says that, now continuing that thought, कामस्याप्तिं जगत प्रतिष्ठां क्रतोरानन्तयमबभ्यस्य पारं क्रतोरानन्त्यमभ्यस्य पारं स्तोमं महद्रुगायं प्रतिष्ठां दृष्ट्वा धृत्या धीरो नचिकेतोऽत्यस्राक्षीः. See, everything that is gained by action, when you do fire sacrifice, what do you need? We saw in the previous few verses that you need the bricks, you need the wood, you need the oil, and all those. What are these? These are ingredients. They are ingredients from this finite world. How can ingredients from finite world give you infinite? Cannot. The result that they give can also be only finite, but relatively longer duration. So what is that longer duration? The length of this period of creation. And that is what was gained by the Lord Death. So here in the 11th verse, the teacher, the end of all desires, the foundation of the world, the endless rewards of sacrifice, the other shore where there is no fear, the praiseworthy, the great and the wide extended sphere, and the abode of the soul, all these thou having seen and being wise, O Nachiketa, you have with firm resolve rejected them all. He is glorifying his disciple by, and what is that he has rejected? The Nachiketa is, we can say he's a seeker of truth, he is a Vedantic teacher. He wants to know that one without a second principle. Lord has offered him all the treasures. What is the highest treasure that he offered him? He offered him the abode of the gods, the Hiranyagarbha state. Hiranyagarbha state means where the first expression of creation, not the black hole. First expression of creation is Hiranyagarbha. It is the golden egg. Hiranya, golden, Garbha, the womb, the golden womb. And what is that golden womb? I explained to you before. It is where the life is started throbbing, and all the possibilities of the future tree are present. Even if you want to say, out of that seed, the shoot has just popped open, the seed, and it is about to come out, and in that tiny shoot, just one leaf here and one leaf there, it's still together. You know a huge banyan tree is going to come. It will grow into that, isn't it? With millions of leaves and millions of fruits and whatnot. So Hiranyagarbha is that state when it opens, it is the entire cosmos. And as it grows, everything in this creation becomes manifest. Now, is that Hiranyagarbha state that is the total mind state? Is that state achievable after many years, or are you experiencing it on a daily basis? This is not given here, I am putting my thoughts now. See, every morning when you when you get up from sleep, some thought wakes you up, isn't it? And when you wake up, is there not the potential of all the variety that is there in this creation in that moment of waking up? It has not become manifest in your mind yet, but the potential is there. Why? You have become awake now. You have stirred. Till you are not stirring, you are in deep slumber, you are in deep sleep, you are like that seed which has not got any life in it, isn't it? But the moment life comes, the moment you wake up, eyes are closed, potential is there to express, isn't it? So at that moment, and that is why it is said, meditate at that moment. At that moment, what do you think of? Oh, I have to go to work, I have to do this job, I have to take the child to the school, I have to pay these bills, I have to finish this project, I have to do that project. Do you think, oh, now I'm going to become the whole world? Do you think that? Do you think now the whole world will manifest? And the world manifests only because of me. I am the source of the whole universe. I am pervading the whole universe because universe is only in the mind. And mind cannot function because of me. Do these thoughts come when you wake up? Or the thought comes, I'm late for my tea. Think. So train yourself. What will you think? That which you have trained yourself to think about. So why these thoughts are not coming? Because you have not intensely thought about it enough. It's just superficial hearing. Yes, you may have heard it many times. Yes, you may have heard it, been listening to it for last 20, 30 years. But 20, 30 years of superficial or surface listening does not bring about the intensity. One time, 100%, 120%, you get into it, increase the enough. Increase the intensity. So that waking, dreaming, sleeping, walking, toileting, eating, conversation, having conversation with anyone, continuously the feeling is that the whole creation is my expression. The whole creation is in the mind, not in my mind, is in the mind. And that mind is invigorated by me. Without me, this mind cannot function. In this mind, all other minds are. And when you once, twice, thrice, first you will approach it with doubt. There will be many confusions, there will be many unfinished ends, but you keep repeating, keep feeling, because faith is what? By which you can come to know the unknown. So, if this is what is the experience of the great masters, then, and they have said that, scriptures are saying that, then it must be true. If I am not experiencing it at the moment, does not mean that it is not true. Then surrender, feel, continue to contemplate in that manner. Replace all other thoughts by this thought, so that 24/7 you are obsessed by it.
It's very, very powerful if you, just before you go to sleep, you put something in.
Whatever works for you before going to sleep, because that is also the same time, same atmosphere, and when you wake up, also the same
But
atmosphere.
you have more control of it, because if you are saying something to yourself just before you go to sleep,
True,
there's more
true.
there's some control. But
Yes,
when you wake
yes.
up in the
So
morning,
you go with that thought into sleep. Yes, yes.
and you haven't the control because it comes
Yeah.
and then you get caught in it.
That works for you, fantastic.
Mm.
But don't limit yourself to that. Slowly, slowly, every moment you should be going out of the concept of waking, dream and sleep. Why? All the waking, dream and sleep, all the wakers, dreamers and sleepers are happening in the mind. And that mind, I am the invigorator. Because of me that mind functions. Then there's no question of many minds and many personalities to deal with. There's only one mind. When you have started thinking like this, when you have reached a stage like this, understand you have come to the Hiranyagarbha city. From individual mind, you have migrated, transformed, expanded into the total mind. Total mind is this golden egg, golden womb. All possibilities are there. All the worlds are in there. And this golden womb is called where the Creator is. Brahmaji, his abode. Satyalok, the abode of truth. But it's a relative, it's not the absolute truth we are talking about. It's the first manifestation of reality. That also Nachiketa has rejected. See, that total mind also Nachiketa has rejected. So what is Vedantic sadhana? First, I am not the body, I am not the mind, breath, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect. Then, having recognized that I am not this individual intellect, you straight away move to I am not the total intellect also. Because that's In that gap between individual intellect and total intellect is the dharana, dhyan, samadhi. Concentration. And concentration on what? On the reality. And while you are thinking about the reality, the mind is naturally not is dispassionate towards the world, dispassionate towards the finitude of this mortal plane. Immediately it expands into the total mind. Will it happen slowly? Yes, in Kundalini path it will happen slowly.
How, if you haven't experienced or know the reality, can you be concentrating on it all the time? What would you be concentrating on?
You cannot know the reality as a thought in your mind.
No.
So how can you
concentrate on reality?
Do you have an objective experience of your mind?
No.
But you know you are a thinking person.
Yeah.
You have never seen your mind. Similarly, have a faith that there is a divine spark within you which is called the infinite reality, and because of which body, breath, mind, intellect are functioning. And that you are. First, intellectually understand, and that understanding must be married with faith. Then there is a possibility. If you just intellectually it is there, then arguments will come. And that will not lead us anywhere. So here the Lord Death is surprised and at the same time very, very happy to see that Nachiketa has even given up the joys of the sense organ of the total mind, which would have experienced the total mind, and that also he has rejected. The stay of all the universe, this Hiranyagarbha, the golden womb, is the stay of the all universe, meaning it is the base of all universe. This total mind itself has become the entire universe. The material and the efficient cause. The material and the efficient cause of the entire universe is this total mind. And when we reject this total, okay. What is that written? What I have explained, that's what they have said. And then the second word is the wide extended Urugayam. Urugayam, that wide going, wide extended, far striding, the word which is used for Lord Vishnu, and the wide opening glory of the early dawn. So who is this Vishnu? Vishnu is he who is wide stranded, all pervasive principle. And what is that all pervasive principle? That which is pervading even the total mind. What is that because of which the total mind is functioning? That. So when we talk here, when we use the word Vishnu, Vishnu is an expression of the total, the golden womb. Vishnu is what? The maintainer. Brahma, the God, is the creator, Vishnu is the maintainer, and Shiva is the destroyer. So Vishnu, who is the maintainer, he is having a far stride, meaning he is pervading everything. Because only in the waking state you can come to know all this. In dream state you cannot, in deep sleep you cannot. Deep sleep is controlled by the Shiva, and the dream state is controlled by Brahma, Rajas. And the waking state, which is Sattvic, is controlled by Vishnu. Even that abode you have rejected. According to Shankara, that which is sacrificed and rejected by Nachiketa is the Hiranyagarbha, the total mind identification. And this is being intelligent, have you rejected them all. The Lord of Death is saying that you have shown an acute sense of discrimination and heightened sense of dispassion towards everything that I have offered you, and I see the impatience within you to know the truth that you have set out to achieve. And in that process, moving towards that truth, you have discarded everything that has been offered, including the Hiranyagarbha, the first expression of this creation, that is the divine, the total mind. In total mind there is no sorrow. In total mind there is no achievement. In total mind there is no death. In total mind there is no old age. Everything is ever fresh. He says, I am amazed. I wish there are more students like you who are so discriminating and dispassionate. And in this way, till here, the Lord of Death has till now only sung the praises of his disciple. But he has not given any answer yet. Till now he has not given answer. Till now the story was going, and when the story stopped about few verses ago, about 11 verses ago, then the story converted into the mental thinking, contemplation of the Lord of Death with regards to his disciple, and then coming to a conclusion that I have indeed got one of his kind in front of me right now. It's a rare opportunity that he has shown this sense of discrimination and dispassion, and I am also not at his age. I was probably running around here and there. Even only later in stage I started practicing the various sacrifices, because of which now I am stuck in this heavenly existence till the end of time, even though I know what the truth is. And thinking in this manner, now we will look at this, but we will see it tomorrow. He says, tam durdarsham gudham anupravishtam guhahitam ghavarheshtam puranam adhyatma yogadhigamena devam matva dhiro harsha shokau jahati. He says, the Lord says, the wise sage renounces joy and sorrow by means of meditation on the inner self, recognizes the ancient who is difficult to be seen, is hidden in the cave of the heart, dwells in the abyss, is lodged in the intelligence and seated amidst miserable surroundings indeed. So, having rejected the total mind identification, such a person, such a seeker, what should he contemplate upon? What should he contemplate upon?
Cave of the heart.
Aye?
The cave of the heart.
But that's just one of it. That's just one of it. Cave of the heart does not mean some physical place. It means where the intellectual acumen is so sharp that you are not allowing anything to stick as a concept in your mind other than the truth, knowing fully well that the truth cannot be known by the mind and intellect, and at the same time having enough dispassion even to give up that idea of wanting to know the truth, which is an idea expressing in your intellect. So see how many things are going on right now, even at the last moment. All that has to be dropped. Then you will glide into yourself, because that seed is still there. That intense desire to liberate is still there. It's also a concept in your mind. The truth, as you are seeking it by saying it is infinite, it is ancient, that also is a concept, but it is helpful at the moment. So here it says, the wise sage who has given up the total mind identification, he renounces joy and sorrow by meditation on the inner self. In Yoga Sutra also it came, Tada Drashtuhu Swarupe Avasthanam, the third sutra. Having Chitta Vritti Nirodha iti Yogaha and Tada Drashtuhu Swarupe Avasthanam. Having suspended the mind, the yogi must shift. Then, Tada Drashtuhu, he must see Swarupe Avasthanam. Where is the self within? Where is the spark within? Where is the reality within? The Atman within? Because now there are no distractions. If you have suspended the mind, there are no distractions. Mind is not going out anywhere. Shift the attention of that mind which is not attracted by anything to the, as he said, cave of your heart, within. When you do that, by meditating on the inner self, you give up, you become a witness of joys and sorrows. Joys and sorrows are for the mind, but you are giving up the mind and you are putting the mind focused on the inner self. Inner self cannot have a joy which can come and go. The joy of the self is eternal joy, which is called bliss. It is not which is finite. So it cannot be joys and sorrows, though they are given up. Recognize the ancient. What is that ancient? That innermost spark within you. It is the most ancient, meaning it was the first one. It is unborn. We'll talk about it tomorrow again. Who is difficult to be seen. That means just like our eyes cannot see themselves, if you are looking through a telescope, you cannot look at your own eyes through the telescope. Similarly, this eye, the divine spark within, cannot be seen by the conditioned spark, meaning the intellect. Cannot be seen, and yet it is there. Do you know your eyes are? Yeah, even right now. There is no mirror in front of me, but I know the eyes are there. How do you know? Have you seen your eyes? No. I am seeing your eyes, but am I seeing my eyes? No. But I have no doubt that I have eyes. I have no doubt that I have a mind. I have no doubt that I have a divine spark which is expressing as the life principle. Come to this conviction. And is hidden in the cave of the heart, dwells in the abyss, is lodged in the intelligence, and seated amidst miserable surroundings indeed. Seated in the miserable surroundings, everything is muck around him. This body is made out of dirt. And in this body only you can find it. A lotus is born in the dirty waters, survives on the dirt of the dirty waters, but is untouched by the dirty waters. Isn't it? Same way. Here it survives, it's seated amidst miserable surroundings. This is the dirty. This is the dirt. The world is the dirt. And you are just a particle of it. And the self is seated in that. So we'll talk about it more tomorrow, about this. Early in the morning, it's nice. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.